on a high note after its 5-day rally ended on Thursday. While Malaysian palm oil is down, Chicago soy oil and European rapeseed are higher. Crude oil continues to make slight gains as exports from the Iraqi province of Kurdistan remained at a standstill. The Canadian dollar is steady compared to Thursday's close. The May canola contract is up $5 per ton at $769.60. In the U.S., traders are preparing for the U.S. Department of Agriculture's grain stocks and prospective plantings reports, which will be released today at 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain Time. The trade is estimating the seeded area for U.S. corn to total 90.88 million acres on average, up 2.3 million from last year. The trade is also estimating on average 7.47 billion bushels for corn stalks. Export sales for old crop U.S. corn were 1.036 million tons for the week ended March 23rd, while new crop sales were 21,800 tons. The Buenos Aires Grain Exchange left its Argentine corn production estimate unchanged at 36 million tons, while grain inspectors wanting wage increases have begun strike action. The May corn contract is up 4 U.S. cents per bushel at $6.53. Prior to today's reports from the USDA, the trade is projecting 88.3 million acres on average for U.S. soybeans, slightly above the 87.5 million planted last year. The trade is also expecting 1.742 billion bushels in stocks. The USDA also reported 348,000 tons of soybean exports for the week ended March 23rd, while the trade is anticipating a record February crush of 175.7 million bushels for Monday's fats and oils report. The Buenos Aires Grain Exchange left its Argentine soybean production estimate unchanged at 25 million tons. The May soybean contract is up 9 U.S. cents per bushel at $14.84. Seeded area for all U.S. wheat is projected by the trade at 48.85 million on average, with 10.9 million earmarked for spring wheat. The trade's average estimate for wheat stocks is 928 million bushels. The USDA reported nearly 152,000 tons of old crop wheat export sales for the week ended March 23rd. 20% higher than the previous week and 60% higher than the same week last year, with Mexico as the top buyer. New crop export sales were 37,400 tons. S&P Global said India may cut its wheat production estimate 1 to 2 million tons from its current estimate of 112.2 million due to hail and rain. The May Chicago wheat contract is unchanged at $6.92 U.S. per bushel. The May Kansas City hard red wheat contract is up 11 U.S. cents per bushel at $8.83. The May Minneapolis spring wheat contract is up 4 U.S. cents per bushel at $8.84. That's a look at the ICE futures in U.S. markets for Friday, March 31st. In Winnipeg for MarketsForum.com, I'm Adam Pelashati.
See more and do more in a new 300 Series compact track loader from New Holland. Its industry-leading 360-degree visibility is truly something to see at Butler Farm Equipment. With its reverse camera and 8-inch multifunction LCD display, super boom lift technology, rock-solid stability, and redesigned controls, you'll work with greater speed, safety, and precision. Maximum productivity starts with a clear view. Stop by Butler Farm Equipment in Fort St. John today and see how a new 300 Series compact track loader helps you do more.
The opinions expressed during this show do not represent those of this station. If you've missed any of this show, you can follow the podcast at energeticcity.ca. Now, an in-depth look at the news and information shaping our community. This is Moose Talks with your host, Doug Craig, on Moose FM.
Good morning and welcome to the show. A little later on, we're going to be catching up with Brenda Baumeister. She's a longtime caller and texter on the morning show. She is retiring today after 35 years working at the Fort St. John Hospital. She's also wrapping up a wonderful fundraiser her and her granddaughter Peyton were doing for the Peace Villa. So we're going to catch up with all that and more coming up in just a few minutes. But first, we're going to talk a bit about this Rainbow Lake Connector Highway. I think that's the correct term for it. It's a highway that would go essentially between Fort Nelson and Rainbow Lake, Alberta. It would connect to High Level. It's been something that I believe has been bandied about for decades at this point. It recently came up again at a council meeting, so we thought we'd dig into it a little bit with the mayor of the Northern Rockies Regional Municipality, Rob Fraser. Rob, welcome to Moose Talks. Thank you for joining me today.
Good morning, Deb. You're welcome.
All right. Well, tell me a bit about this this project. What is it, first of all, and what would it mean for the region if it were to be constructed?
Yeah, that's a loaded question. Maybe you don't know how loaded that question is. It has been since the early '60s. I
Wow.
think the communities of Rainbow Lake, High Level, and the Mackenzie County over in Alberta have been interested in extending their Highway 58
Hmm.
over to the SYD road here in the Northern Rockies. So there's pros and cons to both sides of that. The pros, and there are a lot of pros. The first pro is that we're connected and we're talking to each other as northern communities, resource communities that have similar issues and difficulties. But
Hmm.
we had the Mayor McAteer from High Level. We had Reeve Nelson from Mackenzie County, and Mayor Ferris from Rainbow Lake, and all their councils. And as well, we had our council, and we had most of the council, the chief and council of the Fort Nelson First Nation.
Hmm.
So some of the positives obviously are increased ability for tourism. Eventually you could build a circle route, Grand Prairie, High Level, Rainbow Lake, Fort Nelson, down the Alaska Highway, Fort St. John, Dawson Creek. You can make a circle then.
Hmm.
It makes easier access from northern Alberta to northern BC for people who might want to go up the Alaska Highway from that part. And the reverse is true. Anybody from here who has relatives, because they are close-knit communities with respect to historical families, and so the ability to go back and forth would be increased. Right now, you can get there, but you've got to go up Highway 77 and over Fort Simpson, and then down to Hay River that way to get to that part, or all the way down through Fort St. John and then up again. So it's a big distance. Another advantage is the railhead that we have and they don't have. So their agricultural products, grain in particular, could come to Fort Nelson. Of course, if we were able to get our rail issues sorted out, there's some of the agricultural products could come this way.
Hmm.
From our perspective, agriculturally, we have a few producers here that do fairly well. It opens up a market over there to them.
Hmm.
So there are some positives to. The negative side, though, I think for us is that our economy has been wrapping tighter and tighter on itself since 2009, really, when the forest industry started to pull out and the oil and gas industry pulled out. Right now, the economy of reclamation of the petroleum industry. So those wells that have been depleted, that is really keeping our contractor base alive and well. And the fear, of course, is that if we opened up this oil patch to the Alberta side, that contractors may come over here and scoop up some of that work. And my experience from working out there back in the early days when we had winter roads going back and forth is that you saw many, many more contractors coming to BC than you saw contractors going from BC to Alberta.
Hmm.
So the history is just not there that it would be a shared access. So there are some of us who are concerned about that. The chief is very concerned about the environmental aspects of what might happen.
Sorry, Rob. This would be Chief Charlene Gale of the Fort Nelson First Nation.
Chief,
Right? Yeah.
That's right, Chief Gale. So she made it very clear that she had concerns about treaty rights. She had concerns about the caribou and moose in this particular area. It's pretty sensitive in that it's boreal forest, but it's also a lot of muskeg, and so there are a lot of caribou, and they're trying to grow the caribou herds out there. I mean, they're not in as bad a state as the caribou herds perhaps in the south, but at the same time, it's something that the nation is concerned about from a caribou perspective. They are also concerned about the sensitivity of the land. There's been historical use there for many generations and maybe millennia. Understanding that in the summertime when the ground is not froze, there's a lot of muskeg there, and so the communities traveled in the high grounds. In the high ground, of course, is where you want to build a road. And of course, that's going to be through sensitive traditional territory. And I think they really, as a nation, would want to make sure that all of those sensitivities are taken care of. Nobody's come out and said, "No way, Jose."
Yeah.
You know, it's let's talk. But right now, I think there's probably more resistance from our side than from theirs. We haven't even talked about the province, right? Who's going to build this? It's across some of the worst country in the world for building roads on. We're probably talking tens of millions of dollars to build a road like that. It's finished on the Alberta side. Essentially, they're almost to the border. And, we have trouble getting $50,000 for the road out to the airport from this government. Never mind millions for a road across. However, if there's some national projects with respect to linear corridors across the north, if it became part of an east-west linear corridor, resource corridor, either right across the entire country or even from Hudson Bay to the coast, across the northern parts of our province, then the national interest, I think, would take over, and it would open these gas fields that we have to the East Coast, and any LNG projects that might want to go there. So there's pros and cons, and I'm glad the dialogue is open.
Yeah, there's lots to chew on there. I can definitely hear the challenges that are kind of lay ahead of this. I have to ask, though, why has this come up again suddenly? Was this someone expressed interest? Was it, you're the new mayor, you're like, I don't know, why don't we sit down and talk about this again, since it's obviously happened before that we've had chats about this, as you said, for the past 50, 60 years now, but nothing has come of it for a variety of reasons, probably many of which you've already named. Why did it come up again at this recent council meeting?
I think that every approach about this connecting road has been brought up by the Alberta communities. I don't think there's been a council in Fort Nelson and now the Northern Rockies that's ever broached the topic. So they introduced the topic, sent us a letter back in the fall, shortly after the election, and I don't know if this is a common practice for them, that when there's a new council elected that they initiate this discussion again. But it's certainly coming from their side more than it is from our side.
I see. So, the discussion is open again, as you say. Again, as you also say, lots of money would be required for a project. This would be massive because of all the sort of moving parts in it, including the terrain that it has to cross there. What's kind of next in this process then, do you think, now that everyone's sort of talking about what they think now and what their concerns might be with it?
Yeah, I think if we left it really at open, and if they want to come back to us and sort of give us a better indicator of the positive nature to the Northern Rockies and to BC, and some ideas about where the funds might come from to actually get this done, whether their province is prepared to get involved, or there are this national corridor that I talked about. There's much more activity on the Alberta side with respect to that. University of Calgary's been doing a big study. I think the Ministry of Transportation and Infrastructure that they have there, I think maybe it's the Ministry of Highways, they've got some projects on the go that we've been talking to them about at a very, very high level. They've introduced it to some of the mayors over here in the Northeast. So, I think if those go anywhere, there'll be a bigger approach. Chief Gale has asked them to interact with the nations on the Alberta side, and that might lead to more discussions. So, we're sort of in a holding pattern right now.
Yeah, and I suppose there may be no real discussion also until Alberta has their election and we find out who's next in government over there too, if that's even a possibility of going to them. So, okay, well, this is really fascinating. I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens next on this. Mayor Fraser, I really appreciate you taking a few minutes to kind of outline this for us, and we'll be following this story closely. Thank you so much for your time today.
You're welcome, and thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. That's Mayor Rob Fraser, the mayor of the Northern Rockies Regional Municipality. We'll be right back to chat with Brenda Baumeister right here on Moose Talks.
You may not realize it, but Dulux paint is part of our everyday life. Hi, Richard here from Windsor Plywood. From malls to hospitals to office buildings, we see Dulux colors everywhere. All those vibrant colors around your neighborhood, city, or coast to coast could very well be Dulux paint. At Windsor Plywood, we have a great selection of Dulux, including Dulux interior finish paints at 40% off. Come see us today and save big, only at Windsor Plywood in Fort St. John.
Hey, Bill. What's the problem?
I'm short 2 techs for my next water job.
Text?
Yeah, experienced water technician, skilled at water transfer work.
That's no problem at all. I know a reliable guy who's got a great group of people pumping water in the Pink Mountain, Fort St. John, and Grand Prairie area. Just go to their website, mattaenergy.ca. Matta Energy, Matta Energy, raw energy, Matta Energy. Visit our website today, mattaenergy.ca.
We're talking with Cameron Smith, Senior Financial Advisor at North Peace Savings and Credit Union. Cameron, why is it important to build a good credit score?
Great question. Achieving a higher credit score can literally save you thousands of dollars over a lifetime in lower interest rates. With a higher credit score, you can also access higher lending amounts, giving you more purchasing power for those big ticket items like a home or a vehicle.
So tell us more about credit scores and how can we increase ours?
A credit score is a number that represents your credit worthiness. The higher the number, the better the score. Your credit score is a record of your lending history, including your credit accounts, payment history, and outstanding debts. If your credit score is low, there are ways to build it up. Keep your credit card balance low, make regular payments on your credit cards, and pay your bills on time. Your credit score can have a significant impact on your financial life as it's used by lenders, landlords, and others to determine the risk of lending you money. If you'd like to discuss financial strategies and increase your credit score, contact me or any one of North Peace Savings and Credit Union's financial advisors today.
Learn more at npscu.ca.
You can spin the Moose Eats wheel every weekday morning with Dub and Katarina at 7:10 a.m. Win $25 to Cass's Kitchen, Red Barn Eatery, Olio's Pizza, Brown's Craft House, or Papa John's. If you're lucky, you might win double. And there's a little chance you win nothing. Play Moose Eats every weekday morning with Dub and Katarina at 7:10 a.m. and win $25 to your favorite local eateries.
Listen to over 500 radio stations from anywhere in Canada with Radio Player Canada, the must-have app that's as Canadian as you are. Smart, lovable, easygoing, fits in anywhere. From early morning hockey practices to late night after parties. Enjoy every type of radio station, anywhere, anytime. Listen through your phone, Sonos, Google Chromecast, Google Home, Amazon Echo, Apple CarPlay, and Android Auto. Download the Radio Player Canada app today. It's where Canadian radio plays.
Watch this show live on Facebook or download the podcast at energeticcity.ca.
Welcome back to the program. I'm Dub Craig. Now we're here to talk with somebody who's retiring after several years, and by several I mean 35 years at the Fort St. John Hospital. Full disclosure, she also calls and texts in on the morning show, so we know her very well. We're very glad to be joined now by Brenda Baumeister and her granddaughter Peyton. Good morning to both of you. Thanks for being here this morning.
Thanks for having us.
All right, so we're going to start with the fundraiser you've been working on this past month. Brenda, you were on the morning show, I believe, to chat about it, and you guys are kind of doing this together. Tell us a bit about the fundraiser you've been doing.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what, Oma will begin. So quite a while ago, Peyton came to me and said, Oma, I want to donate my hair. I want to cut it and donate it to the children's wig program. And I said, wow, that's awesome. The next time she says, oh, and I would like you to join me. And I'm like, well, I have no hair to donate. But I tell you what, Oma's done it before, so I decided I was going to shave my hair. Then we talked about it and decided that let's put the funds towards the care home activity program. Yeah. Through the hospital foundation. It's a great program, and they're trying to advance it. And my mom's in the care home, so I see straight on what the program does for these residents. Yeah. So this is what we decided. The plus side to that is I started my career at the care home, so I thought, what a way to end my career in helping out in that way. But I think it is really about Peyton. 11 years old and deciding to do this, I think, is a phenomenal thing to do. Like, Absolutely. Just in general, like for her to actually say that she wants to do this. I mean, I think it's great. Yeah, because I mean, if you're watching the video online, Peyton, you have quite a bit of hair. What do you think inspired you to do this? Was it that your Oma had done it before? Was there something else that happened to you, or a story you heard that you just felt like this is something I want to do? This is a ritual I want to go through.
Well, I wanted to grow my hair long and then cut it short, so then I decided to donate it.
That's a great reason.
Matter of fact.
Wonderful. So that's been going on for the past month that you've been, fundraising for this. I think your goal was $5,000, so you've blown past that, haven't you?
Yes, we have. Yeah, the total is, I told you, Dub.
I think it was like 6,340 at this exact moment so far. So.
Yeah, but at the actual hair cutting at 2:00 today in the Fort St. John Hospital main lobby, we will have some cupcakes and coffee, which were donated by Canadian Grind.
Yeah.
And we're going to charge $5, and that will also go towards our fundraiser. We have some beautiful winter scarves that will also, people can just choose one and just give a donation of their choice.
Wonderful. Peyton, how are you feeling about the fact that you're going to have a shaved head in a couple hours here?
I'm excited.
Yeah. Thank goodness it's not winter time, right?
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, I'm really glad you both came by. Brenda, I mean, you've already mentioned it. You started your career some 35 years ago over at the care home. I guess this would be at the old hospital, right? What led you to a career in nursing kind of in the first place? What made you decide that that's what you wanted to do?
Well, it is quite a wonderful story. So when I was 5, so that's 50 years ago, my father had a really bad truck accident.
Yeah.
Was in Edmonton for quite a few months, and when he returned, I wouldn't leave his side. So I would go to physio, I'd go to his doctor's appointments, all that kind of stuff. And I, just watching him go through his rehab program, I decided then that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to take care of people. And yeah, so as I grew and went into school and continued on, I just kept that goal, that inspiration in my heart. My mom was a care aide at the old hospital, the very first one we had, the 3-story house. And that was kind of a neat thing to listen to her stories. By the time I was born, she wasn't working anymore. And then my aunt in Vancouver, she was also a nurse. And it was just kind of a neat thing for a young person to see and hear stories and realize that, yeah, that's really what I want to do. And so I just went with it.
You've probably seen and heard a lot of things at that time. I wonder if I can press you for a story about something you saw or something you were a part of that you remember that really left an impression on you kind of in the last 35 years in nursing.
Well, the one story that really comes to my mind is I had a lady that I was looking after. She was a younger person, and her issues that she had, so I was her nurse for quite a while, and she just, the way she talked to me, the way we talked together, and unfortunately she did pass.
Yeah.
But there was a sign. She had an angel on her curtain we had put up there.
Yeah.
And after she passed, we do our little thing that we need to do, of course, and you go on your merry way, go home or whatever. And a couple months later, I was just thinking, remembering, as we all do. And she came to me, and I just realized, and I was working for about 5 years at the time, and I realized that I definitely chose what I needed to choose for me. It was a true part of me, and I realized that that's how it goes for some people, right? And there's so many stories, so many wonderful stories, and I always tell people, our son became a nurse actually, and he works in Prince George. And I said to him, when he decided to become a nurse, I said, "Oh, you're hooped there, buddy." And he goes, "Well, what do you mean, Mom?" I said, "Because you got me as a mom." You will never forget. You learn every day. You will never forget the fundamentals, the basics of the nursing. You have machines, you have medications, you have lots of things to have to do, but you will not forget who it is you're actually working with and who you're actually caring for. You just need to know in your heart, no matter what, you go home and you say to yourself, you were able to give something to this person to make their day better. And you'll always have, as I say, good, bad, and the ugly, at all times. But you just have to remember in your soul that you were able to help. And I know deep down, you know, that I was able to help people. And you know, it's I worked with many, you know, maternity, the medical, the surgical, many different areas. And that is what I went in with it, and that's what I was able to take away.
Mm-hmm.
And no one can take that away from you. No matter who you are, that's who you are.
What do you think has changed the most about your job in 35 years?
That is a really big question.
I mean, we obviously advances in medical technology and even research has probably changed the job a lot. But is there something that you go, this has been amazing to see evolve from when I started to, you know, today?
You know what? Absolutely. Machines. Okay. Yeah. Right. You know, the different IV machines, the different X-ray machines, all that. But you know what? The biggest thing is we are able to do more for our clients, right? Our patients. You know, the fundamentals of the nursing care is your basic stuff of, you know, whatever you need to do for them that day or whatever that may look like. But, you know, you're able to say you can do more for their care, right? I mean, there's more lives being, you know, protected. There's all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of neat in that way. I mean, training is pretty much the same, but you have the bigger picture. And I think, to say it lightly, there's when you get change, and so the better stuff to look after people, whether that's, again, the machines, the beds are better, that's for sure. I have to say that thing. We used to crank the beds up. So for me personally, now we have electric beds, which is more comfortable for patients and much easier for us on our backs.
Yeah,
quite
absolutely.
simple. So, you know, but still the same fundamentals of the nursing care is there. It gets busy. It definitely does. I mean, we just came out of a pandemic. I mean, that was really hard on most nursing staff, I know, and physicians and many people, right? And I think it was hard on a lot of the staff when they had to go home and speak to families, and families would really be, what's going on? Why are we doing this? Why are they doing that? Why didn't they do that? And it's like, whoa, okay. Because you have that, right?
Yeah.
But I commend all the staff and everything at the hospital that I've worked with, not just the nurses. I'm talking everybody. We're all part of the main thing. What is the main thing? The main goal is you're looking after the patient, and that's why we're there, right? And whether they're young, old, you know, we welcome babies in, we look after young people, elderly, accidents, this, that, diseases, and then sometimes we're there to help for them to pass over, and that is a big thing.
What do you think you're going to miss the most?
My patients.
Just the day-to-day interactions, talking, helping.
And teaching and knowing that you make a difference. Absolutely. I will say that for sure. The patients. I love the staff, don't get me wrong, but it's the patients that I'm going to miss.
Wow. All right. Well, Brenda, you probably already know this, but you are one of the nominees and winners of our Women of FSJ contest this past week. So we thought live on the air we'd spring this on you and bring someone in to bring your prize in. Hopefully, somebody's coming now. Just to say congratulations and all that good stuff for you. Your nomination talked a lot about the work you've done in the community and the patients you helped. And your longtime friend Lisa, who works for us, is just off camera there. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lisa. Okay, well, hugs to my friend out there, if she's listening. Viva, you're wonderful. And everyone else, thank you so much. It's been a wonderful career, and I wouldn't change a minute of it.
Brenda, I hope you keep listening to the morning show, too.
I will be, except I'll be drinking with my cup of coffee beside me.
Yeah. Excellent.
Thank you so much for
Brenda,
everybody.
Thank you for being here. Peyton, thank you for coming by. Good luck on your head shave later today. Congratulations on your wonderful fundraiser. And Brenda, congratulations on your retirement after 35 years.
Thank you very much, Tom.
It's Brenda Baumeister and Peyton here on Moose Talks. We'll be right back to wrap things up right after this.
So, you want to reduce glare while watching TV? Or maybe your bedroom needs to be darker so you can sleep more soundly? Well, there's a window covering for that. At Alpine Glass Windows and Doors, we offer a wide range of options from Hunter Douglas and can help you decide what room darkening shade is best for you. Come see our selection of Hunter Douglas roller and cellular shades, blinds, and fabrics. Let Alpine Glass point you in the right direction. To learn more, come and see us at 9712 108th Street.
If you're looking for work and you have a Class 1 or 3 license, CETA is hiring. CETA specializes in providing industrial maintenance, turnaround, and environmental services to the oil and gas, mining, pipeline, and other industries in Fort McMurray and throughout North America. As a Class 1 or 3 operator, you'll get steady work, great benefits, and learn new skills working in an environment where safety comes first. Work for one of Canada's best managed companies. For more info or to apply today, visit CETA.com. That's CEDA.com.
Yes, you could fulfill your dream of having a career with the railroad. If you have a high school diploma or equivalents, a safety mindset, and meet some other basic requirements, CN offers paid training to those hired. Enjoy a long-term career with an attractive salary and benefits package. We hire for the role of train conductor, mechanic, track worker, laborer, and more. For a rewarding career, visit cn.ca/careers to learn more. That's cn.ca/careers. Get your career moving. Join us.
Get the Wendy's $5 breakfast deal. A breakfast croissant with a freshly cracked Canadian egg, bacon or sausage, plus small seasoned potatoes. All for just $5 until April 23rd. At participating Wendy's. Taxes extra. At Wendy's, we keep it fresh.
ProPile reminds all motorists that the arrival of spring break brings warm weather and the chance to play outdoors, causing some children to forget about road safety. By slowing down in residential areas, especially near school zones, crosswalks, and playgrounds, we can make sure that this spring vacation is a safe and enjoyable time for everyone. A message from ProPile, your pile driving experts committed to the community we serve. At ProPile, safety is more than a word, it's a priority.
Tell Moose FM how much you love listening using the brand new Moose FM app. Use the talkback feature on the brand new Moose FM app and tell us how much you love Moose FM.
Moose FM, thank you. You guys are awesome. I enjoy listening to you. Appreciate everything you do.
You can win up to $125 in gift cards every week just for telling us how much you love us. Falling in Love with Moose FM is powered by Veronica's Closet, Windsor Plywood, Zendan Laser Technology, Rhythm Auction, and Merwin Optical.
Moose Country weather.
Mainly cloudy sky today. Chance of flurries late this morning and chance of rain early this afternoon. Wind is also going to pick up. It's going to be vigorous through the rest of the day. High of 6 degrees. Tonight, partly cloudy, low of -6. That wind dies down as well. Tomorrow, we'll see mainly cloudy sky. Chance of rain or flurries in the afternoon. Get up to a high of 3. And Sunday, cloudy. Good chance of snow and a high of 0.
Our community first. This is Moose Talks with Dub Craig on Moose FM.
Well, that's the show for today. Thanks to our guests Rob Fraser and Brenda Baumeister for being on the show. To hear this episode and older episodes of Moose Talks again, you can check out the energeticcity.ca podcast page now at energeticcity.ca/podcast. You can also stream these podcasts over on the 100.1 Moose FM app anytime. You can download it today for free in the Apple App Store or on Google Play. Well, that's the show. Jordan Prentice and Trey Lopushinsky are the producers of Moose Talks. I'm Dub Craig. Be well.
Join us next Friday at 10 a.m. for another episode of Moose Talks, a weekly talk show about Fort St. John and the North Peace.